Good morning, all.
There we go. Hi. How
Hi,
are you
Matt.
doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Excited to be here. Start the day.
Well, I'll introduce myself. I'm Jeff. I work at adMarketplace. For those who are not familiar with what we do, we're essentially the largest search advertising monetization provider for privacy browsers and buy now, pay laters. I know there's a couple people in the crowd. I was talking about buy now, pay laters. That's the core of what we do. I'll let Amanda introduce herself. But I will start maybe with just a question of, for you, really tell us about your background and how you shaped your approach to loyalty at Lowe's.
Well, first of all, hi, everyone. So as you know, I am the Vice President of Customer Marketing and Loyalty at Lowe's. So I oversee both our loyalty programs, My Lowe's Rewards, which is a loyalty program for homeowners, and My Lowe's Pro Rewards, which is the program for our pro customers. My journey in loyalty was not a straight line. I started my career in finance, actually, where I learned a lot about data and how to drive value for your customers. I then kind of through a couple other jumps, landed at Hilton, where I spent the vast majority of my loyalty experience over 8 years, really helping to reimagine, what it meant to build a program and a value proposition that went beyond the frequent business travelers and tried to find value that you could give to your less frequent travelers. Then had an opportunity to work at Tory Burch and really look at how that company in a very niche market could leverage data to drive more personalization and kind of get more impact out of the sales. And eventually all of those experiences found my way to Lowe's, where I've had the chance in the last year and a half or so to launch both of these new programs and kind of use all that data to drive more relevant marketing. So it's been a fun journey.
It's great. It's a great background. I also know that Amanda is a University of Maryland grad. So I have to,
right,
not only both the men's and the women's, both in the Sweet 16 in incredible fashion. So congrats on that as well.
Very exciting. Of course, I take a lot of credit.
Oh, I know. Of course you do. So tell us, how do you, as someone with such a varied loyalty background, think about loyalty programs overall?
Yeah, well, let me start by saying I think a lot of people, when you think about loyalty, think about the program itself. You think about, okay, I'm going to get into loyalty and I'm going to develop a loyalty program. But the way I think about it, it really goes beyond the program and the incentives and the deals. And it's really an ecosystem to engage with customers. So for us at Lowe's, as we think about, what we've really developed, it is kind of this ecosystem of how do we drive engagement with our customers? How do we get to know them better and identify them so that we can offer better customer communications, better experiences in our stores, better recognition and celebration for what they need from us. And so it really is about, how do you use the whole ecosystem of identification to capturing data to deliver those better experience that ultimately drives stickiness and engagement with your customers.
It's really interesting. Talk more about the Lowe's approach to the loyalty ecosystem.
Yeah, well, I think the biggest thing is that our approach, it has to go beyond, and any company doing loyalty, you have to go beyond kind of the rewards and the incentives and that instant gratification, because at the end of the day, that's table stakes. Loyalty's been around for years, whether that's punch cards, back in the day, get 10 punches and get something for free. Those are table stakes. And so when we kind of think about our ecosystem, we're thinking about how do we deliver a more seamless experience and really remove friction or provide convenience for our customers through the loyalty journey and value proposition. So recently we launched for homeowners My Lowe's Home. And what that allows customers to do, we all have that junk drawer of stuff for our home, or that binder you buy a home and
or more than one.
Yeah, multiple things. And you're like, where's my warranty? Where's my user manual? Where's my receipt for X, Y, and Z? And so what we've really created is we've digitized that. And so enabling our members to save all of that information about their home, their appliances, and access it on the go, on their phone. And so that's just an example of how we're thinking about other tools and experiences that we can deliver to our loyalty members to just allow them to have, again, greater connection to Lowe's, because ultimately we want them to buy the things at Lowe's that they need for their home, but also gives them the help because home maintenance is hard, and we want to help them know how to do it better.
That's, Amanda, I think you were hitting a little bit on the last conversation that Harvey and team just had. But so how is Lowe's kind of using that data within the loyalty program really to enhance, I guess, the customer engagement? And what's the value there?
Yeah, well, it was funny when Harvey said, as a club, it's so easy because now you identify customers. So a year ago, I like to think about this. We had millions of customers coming in and out of our stores, and we didn't know who they were. And loyalty allows us to now, they enter their phone number. And so now we can start to understand, what are their customer behaviors? What are they buying? What are they not buying? And how do we use that to tailor offers and product recommendations for them? And then on top of that, through our loyalty programs, we are capturing zero-party data, which customers are telling us, right? So for our pro customers, they join our loyalty program and they tell us, I'm a plumber, I'm a landscaper, this is the business size that I have. And that allows us to kind of figure out how do we deliver value and experiences to them to cater to their business. And then on the homeowner side, they tell us, I love to garden, I'm a pet owner. And so for that, we can then go give them great content, give them great tools and offers to make their experience and value they get from Lowe's even more relevant.
It's interesting. I think when I think about our business at adMarketplace, we really work in the modern search journey. So we're trying to capture customers at the very beginning, right? And I think, hearing you speak about the customers and the loyalty, talk maybe a little bit about how Lowe's balances acquiring that new customer, i.e. through search or however you're doing that, versus retaining, again, the loyalty program at Lowe's or.
Well, couple of things. When we think about, especially kind of in your world, we have a huge engine behind Lowe's. Of course, we want new customers to come into Lowe's, and we have media and advertising that's really designed to do that and capture when somebody's in a duress moment, their appliance broke, they need to come to Lowe's. We want to acquire that customer. When you think about the role of loyalty, it's really about getting to know that customer, and we're really focused on how do we drive that frequency and retention of our customers. And one of the things that we've had to be really maniacal about is we had to start thinking about how do we go beyond our highest frequency shoppers of pros. So, we used to think about, well, loyalty is only a frequency play, and it really only matters to customers coming in every single week. And, we had the opportunity to really think differently about reimagining this value proposition to reach a broader set of customers, our DIY customer, which represents the vast majority of our customer base today, and really think about how will we win with that customer and how will we give them, great value and incentive to shop at Lowe's. So it's definitely a balancing act, but for a lot of what we do and how we think about interactions with customers, it's about that exciting ways to engage and drive that frequency. You've
done a lot at Lowe's in a short period of time. It's exciting, and congratulations on it. I think maybe talk a little bit about what's next.
Oh, what's next? I feel like there's something new every day. So Harvey talked about retail media networks. We're continuing to use all this data to power that engine, which is exciting. The next thing that we really think about, and we're doing it already, is just very focused on, technology enhancements and tools that can allow us to be a more helpful brand. So I talked about My Lowe's Home. We also have a tool for homeowners called Style Your Space. So now we can help you kind of curate and style the space, offer product recommendations that you can buy right there on the go. So that's one of the many ways. And recently we launched Milo, which is an AI-powered tool. Think of it as a virtual advisor. If you need to know what fertilizer should I use at this time of year in this area, or how do I fix a leaky faucet? So providing ways that we can extend the helpfulness of our brand that our Red Vest associates in our stores deliver to our customers in real life, and extend that into digital experiences as well.
So no AI can tell me how to keep my grass green, even though I still can't figure out.
I don't know. You should try Milo and see how.
I might have to do that. I might have to do that. So I guess to wrap up, maybe outline for this crowd 5 things, or 3 or 5 things that marketers are looking to start loyalty programs, right? That you need to think about, and what would your advice? You have such a unique background from travel and fashion and retail, and now at Lowe's as well. What's some advice that you could give?
Well, I think the first very, very important thing is know your audience. So we are a massive retailer in the U.S. There are hundreds of millions of homeowners in the U.S. We had to really think about, who do we have a right to win with? And so as you're thinking about at your companies, I want to start a loyalty program, or I want to reimagine the loyalty program. Well, think about for who? What do they need? How can your brand be helpful to them beyond giving them discounts and rewards? So that's point number one, know your audience. The second really helpful thing as we started this journey at Lowe's was acknowledging that this is an enterprise initiative. Loyalty is not a marketing campaign or marketing program. It is an enterprise initiative. So line up your troops, get your cross-functional team ready to go, because you are going to need everyone from finance to technology to operations and everyone in between to make it successful. So the sooner you do that in the process, the better off you'll be. The third point is know your objectives. How are you going to measure success? So loyalty is not a success overnight. It might have a lot of fun bells and whistles, and you can talk a lot about it, but it's an investment. And so when you're talking to stakeholders and you're talking to leadership, you really need to think about, what are you trying to drive, and how are you going to show how that's going to ramp up over time? So know your goals and know how you're going to measure your success. I think the next thing is go beyond the obvious. So again, loyalty programs are known as like rewards, discounts, instant gratification, satisfaction. Like, again, think about going back to who's your audience and knowing your audience. Like, what do they care about? What do they need? How can you help them in more ways than you might otherwise expect? And loyalty provides a very great way to deliver that. And then I'd say lastly is really thinking about, at least for Lowe's and in many retailers, a lot of our business still happens in our stores. So it's easy to think about, how can I design a loyalty experience digitally through the app, through your website, through all of these great tools, and giving them rewards using gamification. But at the end of the day, it has to work in the store too. So your associates need to be rallied around it, and the experience and the value that you deliver needs to show up in the places that your customers are. So thinking beyond that digital and really thinking about kind of the store.
So go beyond the app and
go beyond
deeper.
The app.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Those are the 5 things.
That's great. I appreciate that, Amanda. That's really what we got. I would love to open it up to conversation and questions.
Yeah.
I have a question for you. Are there other loyalty programs that you look? You're in the travel space. You work in the travel space. What other loyalty programs do you say, wow, that's pretty amazing?
Yeah, great question. I get this question all the time. A few of them, I have to look to the beauty world. The Sephoras and the Ultas of the world have done a phenomenal job. Both of them slightly different approaches. Ulta is very online. I think 95% of their customers are actually loyalty members because they started kind of as an online retailer and they were able to build that ecosystem, whereas Sephora is probably the most advanced CRM ecosystem wrapped in a loyalty program called Beauty Insider. So both of those companies, and especially Sephora, have done a phenomenal job in thinking about, how do I leverage data to drive a more relevant, personalized experience that's driving great value for the business, but great stickiness for the customer, because they're saving information, they're putting in an experience. You're actually in the Sephora store on your phone looking at what you bought before, and getting your free gift when you show up at the counter. So there's a lot of good experiences, and we draw off of a lot of that at Lowe's. So with My Lowe's Rewards, we actually offer our homeowner members opportunities for free gifts. We're doing one next weekend where they'll come in for a little plushie toy and for the kids, and it's wildly successful. And a lot of that was drawn from some of those best practices. So.
How do you engage and understand those customers that are not necessarily end-users? Not, enter their phone number, they're not elected to, provide that.
Yeah, great question. So we're gonna keep hitting them over the head with it. So one of the things that I talked a little bit earlier about, like that instant gratification, because even though we've made it incredibly easy for people to join our loyalty program by entering their name, a phone number, and an email address, like that's pretty easy. We're not asking for all these other things. We have to show them, like, in the moment what they can get. And so we have member deals that show up everywhere in our store. So it's very obvious. Do you want to pay this price or do you want to pay that price? And so that's kind of the initial way that we're thinking about someone not ready to necessarily jump into loyalty and give this information, but hey, they want a great deal. And that's why it is table stakes. It is something you have to do because they have to see that instant value in becoming a member. And then over time, hopefully we can win them over with all the other great stuff we can provide to members. Yep.
Building on that question, just in your experience with Lowe's before, are you seeing shopper sign-up fatigue for programs?
For what? Say that again.
I think it's shopper fatigue or sign-up fatigue.
Yes, in terms of, I have so many accounts up and I'm getting all these emails across the board.
Yeah.
So are you seeing
Great question. Well, we kind of learned that on average, and I'm sure we could all relate to this, customers are part of 17 plus loyalty programs at any given day, and they use maybe about 5 to 6. So we ask ourselves the question all the time, how can we kind of make our way into that top spot? One of the things that we've thought a lot about is, they're not going to use us every day, but when they're ready to go for a home improvement need, how do they choose us over the competition? So we try to reframe, like, of course, there's fatigue of this loyalty program, that loyalty program, but what we really focus on is when you're ready to shop for a home improvement moment or for being on the job site, how do you make us choose us versus our biggest competitors? And if we can create that stickiness, so you may not be opening our app or engaging in our program every day, but when you need us, we're going to be the best thing that you need in value and helpfulness. And so we just kind of keep it a little bit more narrow in the home improvement space day to day, but certainly are aware that, like, it's tough to be top of card if you're in the credit space. I've worked in credit marketing too. Like, how are you the top card and wallet? Like, that is a hard position to take. But for us, fortunately, we do have a niche, set of products and experiences and help that we're able to provide, and we really just focus on that. Yes.
Got a question for you, Amanda. Both you and Harvey talked about the evolution of the loyalty program, which is very exciting. How do you feel they're going to start to power advertising campaigns as we kind of become more sophisticated in this world?
Yeah, and Harvey spoke a little bit. I mean, you have to kind of shift from this mass advertising and really think about how do you use this data to do more targeted advertising. And so, you may have an overarching brand message, which, by the way, is incredibly important. People need to know who is Lowe's, who is Lowe's as a brand, and that will continue to be a part of everything that all bigger companies need to do. But I think this evolution of just the massive amounts of data that all brands are sitting on top of, like, you have to put that to work because that's customers' expectation. So even from those early advertising, like, how do you know if you're going after a professional, for us, like a professional business owner, a small to mid-sized business owner, like, what's going to resonate with them as a core message that will make them choose your brand versus, a new homeowner that may be a novice and not know what to do, and what's the message there. So we have an obligation these days to customers, to the marketing world, to kind of think about, like, how do we use this data to power better marketing, targeted marketing, and then get our vendors and all of our partners to kind of jump in on that too. So a big part of the retail media network play as well.
Yeah, and I think that's good that you're approaching it from an inclusive standpoint, like your internal stakeholders, your external stakeholders, bring them all together and let's figure it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Any other?
Okay. Oh.
So, how do you leverage local influencers and incorporate them into?
Yeah, so influencers are a big part of the home of a lot of retailers and people that are selling products. So at Lowe's, we have a number of influencers that are talking about our product. They're on social media. They're a big driver of some of the more viral things that we do, and how we've integrated them into some of the more recent loyalty activations have been around, like, our free gift moments. And so we get them talking about these really cool free gifts that we have. Or right now we're in the middle of Spring Fest, where we have doorbusters and great deals. And so getting these influencers excited and on board, part of our creator network, and kind of, incentivizing them to talk about Lowe's. It's a huge focus for us. And for many retailers, as many retailers are standing up their creator networks, we are growing ours in big ways. And it's really fun because they create great content that not only attracts customers, but it's really good for Lowe's too, because we get all of this great content. So they're a big part of our marketing strategy, a big part of the way that we tap into the younger audiences that aren't necessarily, in some of the more traditional spaces, but they're on social media. They're looking for, the how-tos. They're looking for the trending products and the viral products. Our influencers are the voice of those things, and that's how we're leveraging them at Lowe's more broadly.
Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it.